Youorns. Greetings, fellow Watford fans. Omar here, and it's time for the Youorns 10-minute take on Sunderland 2, Watford 0 at the Stadium of Light. Watford coming into this game having lost their last two games, losing 3-0 to Leeds and 3-2 to Middlesbrough. And so this trip to the Stadium of Light was one where Watford were looking to rectify these last two games with a performance and a victory. But neither of those things happened in this game. And as a result, we saw a Watford side really not put in any kind of commitment to this game at all on any level. Sunderland were a team flying high coming into this game. They'd won 4 of their previous 5 games. A Sunderland side that were looking to get into the running for the playoffs. In fact, I think Sunderland are going to be in the playoff final this season. They were in the playoff semi-final last season. Sunderland are a team, I think, that with a good manager like Tony Mowbray, are a team that can easily get to the Premier League. But they didn't play like that yesterday in the game. They did not. The crowd of over 38,000 Sunderland fans were really very quiet through much of this game, especially the first half, where really the team did not give Sunderland fans a lot to shout about. And yet with all of that, Watford did not put a dent into Sunderland. No commitment to the basics of football. No commitment to doing the things on the pitch as a team together that will get you over the line. Sunderland did not come out of third gear in this game. And a Sunderland side that had won 4 of their last 5 didn't play particularly well in this game yesterday, but yet still managing to win the game really does, as a Watford supporter, get in your craw. It sticks in your craw to know that Watford could have done better in this game had they applied themselves. And in this game, Watford did not apply themselves. I mean, they came out of the traps fairly well. They played with a bit more energy the first 10 minutes of the game, but really after that, they were nowhere to be seen ever again. The only thing you saw about Watford in their game yesterday was the kit that they wore, which is this kind of sky blue, turquoise, aqua. No idea what it is, but I don't care what they play in. They can play in their birthday suits. If they play like this, they are going to find themselves in the relegation scrap. Now, look, some Watford fans have already declared it's a relegation scrap. I'm going to give it a few more games. When we get to the halfway point of the season, if Watford is still in the position that they're in, bottom 4, then yeah, I will join the chorus of Watford fans who are already saying a relegation fight is on. Watford in this game absolutely did not ply their trade. There were some changes made. Georgie came in because Matthias Martins had to deal with bereavement, a passing in his family, and my condolences to him and to his family regarding the passing of a family member. Georgie came in to replace Martins and really, I think, had a really poor game. Too tentative going forward and not enough vigor and imagination, not enough drive from Georgie in this game. But this was not just Georgie, it was the whole team. I mean, the only person that really showed you something was Porteous. And look, the defensive problems that this team has, I mean, are legend. We know that this team has had a lot of problems defensively, but it's not just the back 4. It's a team-wide approach to defending that has not been there. It's not just the back 4. It's not just one player. It's the whole team. The commitment to defending as a team has been non-existent in these games. After the first 2 games where there were no goals conceded, the remaining part of this Watford campaign has been nothing but misery when it comes to defending. And this has gone back seasons. It's not just this season. This has gone on for a number of seasons at this club where the Watford men's first team have not cared enough to do the job at both ends of the pitch. Now, we know the owner is part of this as well. We know that the culture is set from the top, and we know that the owner hasn't spent on defense, and we know that the defense could be a whole lot better. Even with the money problems that Watford have, we know the defense could be better. But it doesn't matter whether the defense could be better or not. What matters for me is that the attitude of the players that we do have here must be better. The attitude, the professionalism, those things must be better at this club with these men's first team players if Watford are to start to progress. I didn't say avoid relegation. I said progress. Because even if they were to go down, but their attitude improved, that bodes well for the future. Now, Val Ishmael's been made manager here now. He's been extended his contract. So the board and the owner are backing him. And I said yesterday here that that was a message for these players to shape up or ship out. Now, obviously, that message was not received yesterday during the game at the Stadium Light because these Watford players did not put enough on the line in this one. They didn't put enough on the line. They didn't put the money on the line. They didn't put their bodies on the line. They didn't put their professionalism on the line. They chucked professionalism out the window a number of weeks ago here, Watford. They just did not do the things that you have to do in football matches. Lack of discipline. I've talked about this all season long. These Watford men's first team players lack discipline. They lack game management. 0-0 in a game where Sunderland really did not impress me. For a team that had been on a hot streak, they didn't impress me. What do? I'm sure Sunderland fans were not very impressed with what they saw that first half. And yet, with 2 minutes to go before the 45 minutes in the first half, we're up 2 minutes. Watford give up a sloppy goal. Nobody tackles. People stick out legs. I don't know why. That's not doing anything. Nobody makes a challenge before that runner gets into the 18-yard box. The midfield doesn't help out. Imran Louza was awful in this game. He didn't do a darn thing. He's had 3 bad games in a row. And I'm telling you, as I said before, in various places, including the podcast, the discipline that does not even show up off the pitch is clearly showing in the same ways on the pitch. Lack of discipline off the pitch when you're showing up late for meetings, Imran Louza, Ben Hamer, and lack of discipline on the pitch when you're getting yellow cards and you're getting sendings off. And this is the thing that spreads throughout the team. It absolutely spreads like a wildfire. No defensive intensity last night. Goal coming very easy. Sunderland didn't really have to work for these 2 goals. Now, Sunderland were the better team and they deserved to win the game, but they didn't have to work really hard at all for these 2 goals. Watford defenders just looking around, nobody challenging, nobody making a foul outside the box in that situation, but then making fouls 35 yards out. That's a lack of discipline, a lack of game management. When you're at 43 minutes in a game, your job is to see out the remaining time in that first half. But Watford have done this all season. They have not game managed very well. And that's not because they don't want to. I just think there's a lack of commitment. There's a lack of leadership. You're a footballer. You're a professional footballer. But the problem right now at Watford, we don't have professionals on the pitch. We don't have leaders on the pitch. The captain is not resonating with this team on the pitch. I don't know if he's resonating with them off it. I think clearly he's not resonating with them off it. And I don't think that Daniel Bachmann has the ear of that dressing room. He's been made club captain. And there's been performances where Daniel Bachmann, I think, has been outstanding. 3 games in a row where he was really great. You saw his confidence growing. But I don't think he has the voice of the rest of these players. I'm not slighting Daniel Bachmann at all. I'm just saying to you, I don't think that Daniel Bachmann has sway in that dressing room. I don't think he does. Now, I don't know. I'm not there. I can't say. I'm just speculating. I'm just giving you what my opinion is about what I am seeing. And if you are a leader, you've got to lay down the gauntlet. And there's no leaders on this team. There's no leaders certainly on the pitch. because last night Watford didn't show you any leadership. They totally were content to sit there. They were playing very selfishly, very individualistic. I think Bio did have a good game. He tried. He tracked back as he always does, made some defensive clearances. Ryan Porteous cleared the ball off a line, and it should have been 3-0. The second goal that Watford gave up was just inexcusable as well. The discipline lacked again. No game management, no discipline. 6 yellow cards at least 5 yellow cards for Watford players, and then a red card for a Watford player. So at least 6 players, whether it was 5 yellow cards and 1 red, or 6 yellows and 1 red. I forget exactly the total number of players who got carded last night for Watford, but it was at least 6. 5 yellows, at least 5 yellows, and 1 red card. Ryan Andrews getting that red card. Shocking challenge. There's no doubt that's a red card. And some people going, oh, no, that's not red. Never. It's nonsense. It's a red card. That challenge is shocking. Ryan Andrews does not have to break somebody's legs for it to be a red card. That challenge is reckless. I don't care what anybody tells me about the weather and the conditions. You are a professional footballer. Ryan Andrews, this is not like him. And I think the reason this happened, I guess it's frustration. I don't want to make excuses, but the fact of the matter is that there is a culture that's rotten at this club. We've known that for seasons on end. We know that it's come from the owner on down, that these players can't hide. And nobody has made these players accountable until this manager, Val Ishmael. The other managers knew they weren't going to be there for a long period of time, so they didn't do anything. Some of them might have complained, whether it was Slaven Bilic, whether it was Claudio Ranieri. This problem with these players in the Watford men's first team has gone on for seasons. And these players weren't being effectively disciplined. They weren't. The whole thing with the COVID parties, we know about that with Andre Gray and Chalobah and Keena. Now, all 3 of them are no longer at the club. But they weren't disciplined for that when they went to these COVID parties. They weren't disciplined. And now you've got a manager who kept that lot last night in the dressing room for over an hour and demanded answers from each and every player. That's what is needed here. Now, this head coach, Val Ishmael, doesn't have to look over his shoulder now this season because he's going to be here through the end of the season and at least into next season. They've not specified where the extension of the contract is, how much further, but he's going to be here next season, folks. And these players have to understand that. They can't get away with the silly tricks and the childish games and the petulance and the immaturity that they've been getting away with for season upon season upon season. These Watford players, these men's first team players, have to grow up and actually commit to football and the fundamentals of it, because the game last night revealed very clearly, as it has in a number of games, not just this season, but the season before and the season before, and we can go back for seasons on end, that these players do not care enough about their football at Watford Football Club. They see this club as a joke, in my view. They turn it on and off when they please. The first 2 games were clearly evidence that they're capable of putting in an effort. Look at what they did to QPR. I don't care when people talk about, oh, QPR is just this or that. The fact is, you still have to produce it on the pitch. I don't care whether you're playing a schoolboy 11. I don't care whether you're playing a schoolgirl 11. You still have to show up on the pitch and do the fundamentals that football requires, that being a professional requires. They did that against QPR. They did that against Plymouth. The rest of the way, they have taken the rest of the schedule off. The rest of the fixture list has been a non-starter outside of 1 game. 1 game. Watford are capable of doing this. This men's team is eminently capable, even with the thin squad that they have. Eminently capable of doing this. They've shown character. They came from 2-1 down against West Brom. They came from 2-0 down against Middlesbrough. But then they do not finish these games off. They decide to switch off. They decide not to commit. The quality in the last third is terrible. The defending is shambolic. The midfield doesn't show up. Luz has been terrible. Loser needs to go. I think Loser needs to get out the club, quite frankly. This is having an effect on everything discipline-wise. And then Ryan Andrews, who's been a really bright spark this season, ends up committing a reckless challenge like that. 3-match ban now. Watford have to be more committed to being professional. These Watford men's first team players have to commit to professionalism and teamwork and the fundamentals of football. And once they do that, you'll start to see some changes. But if they continue to not defend, not play good in midfield, not be good quality-wise in the final third, if they continue to do the things they've been doing these last 6 games, 7 games, then expect that they are going to be in for a long battle just to stay in this league. This has been the YouOrns 10-minute take.